call this meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda from, here it is, the whole agenda. Anybody want to make a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion that we approve agenda as presented.
Here a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Approval of minutes from April 18th, 2023. Want to make a motion?
Yeah. I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented.
Second? Anybody here a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Item number 3, TX 23.05.01. To allow the use of emergency disaster restoration services with fenced outdoor storage in the MU2, C74, BC, and IND zoning districts. Patrick, there you are.
Yes. All right, well, good evening, Planning Board. So again, I'm here to bring you all text amendment 230501, Emergency Disaster Restoration Services. And to give you all a little bit of background on this, this type of use is fairly common across the state of North Carolina. It can be found in the majority of the municipalities. And oftentimes this use can be seen in more of a positive light just because of the services they provide, being able to go out and help individuals who are down their luck or at times they've had some sort of disaster, whether that be fires or flooding. So it would just be nice, it would be a positive use to be able to have potentially something like that in town in case something like that, again, were to happen to people that reside here in Stallings. But currently, this use is not allowed in the town of Stallings. It's not in our table of uses, and staff just recommends to be able to approve this text amendment to further bolster our commercial development in accordance with our economic development plan. And if you look at the bottom of the first page of my of the memo, you will see an image from the table of uses, just displaying what this new approved use would look like, highlighted in yellow in the table of uses. But if you look at the second page from the table of uses, you'll see, second page of my memo, you'll see the entire page from the table of uses in which this text amendment would be applied to, just so you can get, again, a better idea of what other uses are on this page, and it is easier to read this as compared to the smaller image on the previous page. But, do you have any questions before you make a motion?
Did something come up that made?
No, we actually have an applicant here today that is interested in bringing this use here to the town, so. The applicant also does have a presentation. Would you like if you don't have any questions for me, would you like for them to be able to present to you all?
Sure.
Sure, yeah.
All right. Good evening. My name is Kenny Smith. I'm a commercial real estate broker with New South Properties. I am here tonight on behalf of Josh Spangler and Spangler Restoration. We are the impetus for this text amendment. We've put together a real brief slide just to help give you a more basic understanding of what emergency restoration services provide, how they function on a property, a little biographical information on Spangler Restoration, and why we think it would be important for you guys to vote yes and hopefully get this passed. What is Emergency Disaster Restoration Service? Patrick alluded to some of the instances that crop up. I don't know if you remember last year at Christmas when we dipped down into single-digit temperatures, people's pipes froze in their homes and places of business, and unfortunately would lead to burst. You have fires. You have big thunderstorms come through during the summer, will tear up roof, dump an inch of rain inside of somebody's house, so on and so forth. Mold is discovered, but you have these disasters that occur that need to be remediated and cleaned up and help bring back somebody's place of business or home back to new. And in that case, a company such as Spangler Restoration or somebody within the industry will come through. They will help work with your insurance company to make sure you get your claims paid and are able to get your property, be it again a place of business or residential home, get it made and brought back to look like new that happened before the disaster that occurred. Who is Spangler Restoration? They were founded in 2009. They're currently headquartered in Indian Trail. They're the largest independently owned restoration contractor in the state. They are home to 95 employees spread across 5 offices. And they were voted within the past couple years in Charlotte on the Fast 50 for a compilation of the 50 fastest growing companies in the greater Charlotte area. I think this is probably the real crux of everything. How do they operate on a given property? Because obviously we're hoping this text amendment will be approved. 50% of the internal space is general office use. It's your office sales, it's your accounts receivable, it's accounts payable, it's administrative use, it's just the schedulers that can help get people to and from these job sites. The other half of the space is storage. You'll have content. So let's say, for example, you had a fire and part of your home was destroyed and you have valuables that need to be stored, or you have furniture that they will clean and get all the toxins out so then you can get it back in your home. They have emergency equipment such as large dehumidifiers and other tools that they take out to job sites, again, be it a small business or a home, that they can subsequently bring that back to like new. And then the yard will be fenced. In the rear behind the building, they store 6 or 7 service vehicles that go out to each of these job sites, again, to help members of the community. Why do we think it's important? Every zoning ordinance has uses that fall between the cracks, and this just happens to be one of the uses that there's nothing in the ordinance that will allow for what they do. So a yes vote will allow emergency disaster restoration service with fenced yard, which we think is an important use, have a home in the zoning ordinance, if you will. If the text amendment passes, it will allow Mr. Spangler to relocate 2 offices and consolidate them into 1 in Stallings and bring about 45 employees to come work in Stallings. And then lastly, and I think Patrick touched on this as well, this really is a vital service that helps people when they're extremely vulnerable and really need to get back on their feet. But that's it. I'm not a technical expert on the zoning code and some of those aspects. I'm just a broker, but I'm happy to try to answer any questions. Josh Spangler is here as well, the business owner. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. If not, we'll be glad to sit down.
Do you have a particular site in mind?
Yes, ma'am, we do. It's 12134 Stallings Commerce Drive. The text amendment will apply across, obviously, the zoning classification, but Mr. Spangler it's currently a furniture store off Front 74, but Mr. Spangler has it under contract to purchase.
What was that address again?
12134 Stallings Commerce Drive. It's currently a furniture outlet, and I think there might be a little pool retail use in there. It's just around the corner from our Indian Trail, or his Indian Trail location. It's right next to McGee Corporation, which is a large metal fabricator, and then I think there's a Caliber, and Scott Clark Toyota might be across the street.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
So are you talking about having the storage on your property, or when you go to somebody's property?
So they will do, let's say your house catches on fire and you have smoke damage to 3 couches, some chairs, and some stuff that's salvageable. Some of those contents will come to his location where they will clean them and then keep them in storage until the house or home is ready to go back and put everything back on site.
Do we require a site plan for this, Max?
No, this is just a general text amendment to allow this.
No, I
use.
mean, when he wants to move in.
Oh, sorry, so if he's doing any improvements on site, which I do believe they're going to, yes.
Okay,
But it won't come to planning board.
right, I know.
I know, sorry.
It should, but it doesn't.
Yeah, and I think that may be what triggered, we were going through our due diligence process, and I think our engineer, working with Max, I think triggered that we didn't quite fit into the zoning code. I think when I originally called, thought general office, but anyway, long story short, we were able to hone in that this was process and what we would need to do.
Only question is, when you say fence, is it gonna be like a 6-foot privacy fence?
Josh, what do you think, like
I
6-foot
know.
privacy fence screened, just a little?
Or,
It's
I mean,
already fenced, actually,
I used to
so
go.
the McGee Corporation actually already has the fence around there.
Yeah.
I'll have about a 30-foot connector fence, and then we will have a gate there, because we have had multiple thefts of catalytic converters, things like that at
Yeah.
our current place. So literally, it'll be a gate attached at the front, and then back at the corner, it's already fenced everywhere else.
Okay.
And what kind of a fence is it?
Just chain link, whatever it needs to be.
Okay.
And behind the building, they want the trucks out of sight, but also just to keep everything out of sight and keep it
Yeah.
behind the building.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve text amendment 23.05.01, and that we determine that the text amendment is consistent and reasonable with the comprehensive land use plan, for the reasons as stated.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thank you very much. Y'all have a nice evening.
Welcome.
Sure thing.
7:30.
Yep, we did this last time.
Oh, good. TX 23.05.02, to add text to Article 10.1-21, stating that automobile repair shops, body shops, and garages are not allowed as a home occupation.
Good evening, Planning Board. Here to present text amendment 230502. Basically to not allow the use of automobile repair shops, body shops, and garages as a home occupation. Currently, right now, home occupations are allowed for residents of Stallings, per Article 10.1-21, that do not create an adverse impact to their surrounding community. Reason behind it is just to limit the amount of complaints, noise, traffic for communities in Stallings. The text amendment would read as follows: without limiting the generality of the foregoing, automobile repair shops, body shops, and garages shall not be regarded as home occupations. Do you have any questions?
Have you had some incidences with people trying to have a garage?
Yes, in the past, we've had some cases opened up for garages, home occupations, illegal home occupations because they didn't have a permit for them. Mr. Brownie Helms, who the older gentleman that was sitting back here, currently have an open case. He's no longer with us. He thought this was town council. Have an open case with him regarding a neighbor who has an illegal auto body shop that's causing a lot of issue within his community. So that's one of the reasons, that's the main reason why I'm bringing this to the planning board.
So is this for people that are living in a house that are using their garage as a shop, or people that have a garage that are living in it?
People who have a primary residence and are either utilizing their attached garage or a detached structure as a body shop and garage.
Thought it was okay to do that, home occupation?
Oh, you
Uh, well,
Yes.
Technically, it's allowed under our current ordinances, but unfortunately, a lot of them have been causing issue within their communities. And so this is hopefully to address those issues within the communities. So seeking approval for this text amendment.
Is this, I mean, I'm sure you looked over this, the wording of this, and I'm just saying, I have a huge migraine, so I may be looking at this wrong or overanalyzing, but to me, this looks like you have a garage that you're living in rather than a house. Is there,
So the home
just-
occupation has their whole section in the ordinance.
Okay.
With different regulations, it's not listed here.
okay, that's,
Pull it up.
that's good.
Ruben's adding,
Yeah, I'm adding this C to it.
Yeah, I'm probably overthinking it, but
Not a
so it
problem.
doesn't affect, like, let's say someone wanting to work on their own car,
yeah, you just can't run.
but you wouldn't be able to run a business.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Of this use, yeah.
Any other questions?
Motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve text amendment 23.05.02. And that we find this reasonable and consistent with the comprehensive land use plan for the reasons stated below, which was to maintain safety, appearance, and property values of the community.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, board.
Okay, are we done? Is that the end? Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.